Yeah.
All right.
Okay, great. So Inez and Ms. Dancer, thank you for joining me today. We for those that are watching, we've U.S. Term Limits had an inaugural contest for an essay contest, and the subject matter of the essay contest was term limits, but not just simply as sort of an opinion piece about if you favor term limits or not. Less about that, more about an historical essay about what caused term limits to come about on the presidency. So it was really about the history of the 22nd Amendment, which gave us term limits on the presidency and limited the president to 2 terms. And we did a bit of a presentation to Ms. Madison Dancer's class, and back in, what was that, March, something like that, maybe even February. Yeah, quite a ways back. And Inez Prevet is with us. She is in Ms. Dancer's class, and I believe it's social studies, right?
Yes.
And Inez, you're in 7th grade?
Yes.
Great. And she took part in the essay contest and has won. And so, I don't know, do you have your plaque with you?
No, it's at home.
Okay, yeah. I didn't tell you to have it, so that's fine. But she won a nice plaque and everything, commemorating, she won the first essay contest that we've had. So congratulations, Inez.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let me ask you just a few questions. Why, in a nutshell, did we end up with the 22nd Amendment?
So FDR went through with almost 4 complete consecutive terms, and the U.S. government realized that shouldn't happen because it might form a dictatorship if they let presidents continue doing that. And the people agreed, so they formed the country.
Excellent. What's something that you learned that was new to you? I'm sure you probably heard about the 22nd Amendment before, and others, in your civics or history classes. What's something that was surprising that you learned?
It was surprising to me how much the people were involved and how much they believed in it. Both the Democratic and Republican sides thought that this was the right move, and that's surprising.
So you found that it was a really kind of a nonpartisan issue, right? It was something that people on either sides of the aisle could agree on. Interesting. Yeah, that is kind of surprising sometimes, because it seems like so many issues, are couched as party issues, but not so here, huh? Well, that's interesting, because when we as an organization are pushing for congressional term limits right now, we find that exactly the same thing is going on. That it's really not so much a party issue. It's not a Republican or a Democrat issue, but it's something that there's a lot of consensus on. Yeah, and what interests you in taking part in the essay contest? What you have to do this for a grade or anything? So what caused you to have interest?
So first it was optional, and then Ms. Dancer said that we could do this as a unit project.
Oh, okay.
There was some incentive, yeah.
Yeah, a little incentive, yeah.
It was really interesting to me, so I decided just to do it and maybe make a little money doing my homework.
Cool. Did you have any history in history? Did you have any interest in history or civics and stuff in the past?
Yeah, I think politics are really cool. I talk to my dad about them a lot, so I thought this topic was very interesting and a good thing to invest my time in.
What's something else you've studied in the area of politics or philosophy or history?
I've also studied about past forms of government and how people react to that and how it has motivated people's ways of life and affected people.
Yeah.
Oh,
this year, I was going to say this year we are doing world geography, so we're talking about governments all over the world and how they impact their people and the economy and all those kinds of things. Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. So how to Inez, in studying these different forms of governments, and I'm sure you've looked at different historical civilizations and how their forms of government, differed from the American. form of government. What's something kind of peculiar and interesting about our form of government in America to you?
I think what's different is how our government has worked so well. Like compared to African countries, they've struggled forming their government, but we came out with a really good government just right off the bat, and it did take some work, but I think it's a very strong one compared to other countries.
Yeah, and continues to take that work, right? Our Constitution is the longest surviving Constitution in the world right now, meaning, some countries have gone through several different constitutions in the meantime, and it's only a young country still, really, right? A couple hundred years old plus and some change. That's interesting. So it's kind of interesting that there's some sort of like stability that comes out of this Constitution. So that's good stuff. Yeah. All right, excellent. Well, hey, I just want to congratulate you and say thank you so much for taking the time to participate, and all of your classmates as well for taking part in this. That submitted essays. They were really enjoyable to read. We had a good time. Myself and Anne and Ashley were sort of the panelists, and we kind of scored them up and added up our scores and see who came up on top. And it was just, everyone was just really impressed with your essay and that of your peers. And we were so happy to do that. And I had a blast talking to you and your class. You guys are very receptive, and you're really prepared with good questions. Like, you have better questions than the politicians I talk to have. So kudos to you. And that's on Ms. Dancer as well. You guys done great. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking part in both of you.
Yes, thank you as well. We appreciate the opportunity. It's a good, very good learning lesson.
Good.